And good morning to you. I'm Jessica Bowman. Thanks for joining us this morning. And time right now, 5:55. If you're keeping up with your time this morning, how's that Pine Belt sunrise? Good morning, Pine Belt, and thanks for waking up with us here on WDAM 7 Sunrise. I'm Jessica Bowman. It is a pivotal moment tonight in Mississippi politics as Republican gubernatorial candidate Tate Reeves is hoping to be elected as Mississippi's next governor. And as we've said all throughout the night, this is going to be a tight race. Well, thanks for spending your morning with Patrick and I. We've enjoyed you all this morning. Have a great day. And we will see you back here later today on WDAM 7 News at midday for the latest headlines happening in the Pine Belt. COVID-19 concern. State Health Officer Dr. Thomas Dobbs gets candid as he continues to see a spike in coronavirus cases in the Magnolia State. Plus, breaking the silence, Mississippi lawmakers speaking out about nationwide unrest in the wake of George Floyd's death. And refusing to resign again. Another packed meeting in Petal. Residents speak out for and against Mayor Hal Marks. We have the latest. 4 counties in the Pine Belt remain under a mask mandate. Right now, a total of 29 counties in our state are under those tighter restrictions. Now, Governor Tate Reeves says 9 more counties could be added to the list, and Jones County is one of those areas under consideration. A warning from state health leaders as we continue to see a huge rise in COVID-19 cases. And breaking news out of Petal, protests expected to begin in the coming minutes. Petal Mayor Hal Marks under fire after comments he made on a social media post earlier this week. Now, this story is getting national attention as many people are calling for his resignation. We appreciate that. All right, let's turn our attention now. The coronavirus pandemic already expected to wreak havoc on the 2020 and 2021 school year. While some want doors to the school to just open on time, health officials fear doing so could be pretty risky. Leading the pack, and not in a good way, for the second week in a row, Jones County tops the state when it comes to new COVID-19 cases. Now, just yesterday, they saw more than 20 new cases, bringing the total to 686 COVID-19 cases. And according to the State Department of Health, from May 25th until May 31st, the county saw a 15% increase in cases, and that's the highest count during a 1-week period. Bead 1 Supervisor and President Johnny Burnett says he's concerned residents there are not following the rules set by the CDC, and says if things get worse, the governor will be forced to step in. And when it comes to deaths, COVID-19 has killed 32 people in Jones County. Now let's take a look at our numbers statewide. There are now 16,322 confirmed COVID-19 cases. And sadly, more than 700 people have died from the virus, 782 to be exact. And one of those deaths happened in Wayne County, bringing its total now to 3 lives lost since the virus outbreak began in our state back in March. Meanwhile, Dr. Thomas Dobbs says our new cases are happening in people much younger than previously stated. And Dr. Dobbs says many people are going to parties and even parades. And he says now an ICU nurse who took care of patients for months has now tested positive due to community transmission. Now, a full breakdown of cases in your area, just head on over to our website this morning at WDAM.com. Another testing opportunity in the Pine Belt for any of you living in Wayne County, and it's all thanks to the Family Health Center. It will have a mobile testing unit set up at Lomax Avenue in Shady Pine Street today from 9 o'clock this morning until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we want to remind you, there are many testing options across the Pine Belt and our state. Just visit the Department of Health's website to see who is offering testing in your local area. Giving back in more ways than one, Forest General Hospital is hosting an emergency blood drive tomorrow and Saturday. And we're told those of you who donate, you will also have your blood tested for antibodies related to SARS-CoV-2. And that's the virus that started COVID-19. Friday, it's happening from noon until 6 o'clock. Saturday, it will run from 7 until 7. Pine Belt pediatricians telling parents it is okay to bring your kids in to get checked out. We were able to catch up with Dr. Patricia Tibbs with the Ellisville Pediatric Clinic. Now, she tells us it's not just about the need for vaccinations ahead of school starting. Ellisville Pediatric Clinic also offers telemedicine services, so if you're still leery about visiting the facility, you do have that option. It's been a long time coming. Now Mississippi Driver Service Bureau's on tap to reopen next week, but of course things will be a little bit different. So here's what's happening. We're told 80% of the foot traffic was previously for renewals, duplicates, and address changes. Now all of those services will now move to online services only. So those of you needing a student permit test test, CDL transaction, or reinstatement, you'll have to go in person, but there's a specific schedule in order of your last name. However, Wednesdays will be walk-ins. Anyone will be able to come in on Wednesday. Another change is for teens with learner's permits waiting to get a license. All right, so that driving test, it will be waived, and the parent or guardian will have to fill out an affidavit verifying the teen has had at least 50 hours of driving experience. Now here's a breakdown of the new DMV schedule so you're prepared if you have to go in. Starting Monday, if your last name starts with an A through E, you will be allowed to take care of business. F through L last names will go on Tuesdays. And again, Wednesday will be for anyone. Thursday, it's last names M through S, then finishing out the alphabet on Friday. The political stomping ground for our state will be empty for the first time in decades. The Neshoba County Fair now canceled. The board of directors of the Fair Association made this decision last night to cancel the fair this year because of the threat of COVID-19. So they're planning to release an official statement in the coming days. We'll continue to keep you updated. For the latest coronavirus headlines, you can head on over to our website, WDAM.com. And for real-time alerts, make sure to download the WDAM 7 News app to all of your smart devices. Right now, a live look in D.C. where Mississippi troops are now on duty to help combat civil unrest. The mission, known as Task Force Magnolia, will protect lives and property while helping to keep peace in that area. Now, we're told when the troops volunteered, they got that call and they then volunteered to make the trip to D.C., all in an effort to make a difference. Most of them serving are from the 155th Armored Brigade Combat Team and have recently been overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Mississippi announcing it's working with the FBI office in Jackson and all levels of law enforcement to protect communities from violent protests while preserving rights for people's freedom of speech. U.S. Attorney Mike Hirsch saying in part, "I want to be very clear. We will not hesitate to prosecute those who break our laws and cause harm and destruction." Meanwhile, the first of several memorials for George Floyd will take place today in Minneapolis. It's happening at North Central University. Now, Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver the eulogy. The second public viewing and memorial will be Saturday in North Carolina. That's followed by 2 more services next week in Floyd's hometown of Houston, Texas. In Georgia, preliminary hearings scheduled in the Ahmaud Arbery murder case. Now, it's the first time all 3 suspects will be together in court. The suspects, Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan Jr. The McMichaels face murder and aggravated assault charges for the February 23rd crime, while Bryan, who recorded the deadly shooting, is facing felony murder charges. Beloved Saints quarterback Drew Brees now under fire after comments he made about those who kneel during the national anthem. It happened during a Yahoo Finance interview. Now, Brees said, quote, "Never will I agree with anyone disrespecting the flag." Now his teammates are firing back. Drew Brees has not responded to the criticism. Now, during the interview, he did say respecting the national anthem is not just about showing respect to the military, but also to anyone who made a sacrifice for this country, including those in the civil rights movement. Well, with the 2020 hurricane season now underway, it's time to make sure you're prepared if a storm begins to threaten our state. So MDOT is doing its part by putting together this year's hurricane evacuation guide. And it's a place where you can get many resources you may need this hurricane season. So you can find all of those details on MDOT's website as well as their social media accounts. Well, how often are you cleaning your reusable bags? Once every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe? Well, believe it or not, that may not actually be enough. Straight ahead, tips to keep you and your bags safe. As we've said all throughout the night, this is going to be a tight race. We were actually able to speak with a candidate just a few minutes ago who says voter turnout here in our state is up and is doing pretty good tonight. People are coming out and they're casting their vote. Now, taking a look back, a Democrat has actually not had this much support from voters in our state in many years. So Tate Reeves is hoping to continue that Republican winning streak. And we want to talk about campaign finances tonight. Now, the Reeves campaign, the campaign finance filing styling show there. His campaign has spent more than $10 million in the race for this top spot. That compared to his opponent, Jim Hood, who has spent a little more than $5 million. And I also want to mention President Trump made his stop in Tupelo, stomping for Tate Reeves, followed by Vice President Mike Pence, who also made a stop on the coast, stomping for Tate Reeves. So from the finance to those high-profile visits, will that make a difference in tonight's election? Well, all of you voters will determine that tonight. So we are live tonight at the Westin as the stage is being set tonight for Tate Reeves and his supporters. So we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the night as you have a little less than an hour to get to the polls if you have not casted your ballot. For now, reporting live in downtown Jackson at the Westin, I'm Jessica Bowman for Decision 2019.
We are drug addicts, but today we're drug addicts and alcoholics in recovery.
My drug of choice was marijuana and crystal meth. Had been using for 3 years.
Alcoholic and drug addict in recovery. I've been sober for almost 11 months.
A program of recovery since 1975. Oxford House International has worked to help transform people's lives. Outreach worker Chandra Brown has taken her story of drugs and alcohol abuse and turned it into a mission to serve others traveling her same footsteps.
Oxford House is so much. It's a miracle, is what it is.
A place of sobriety, empowerment, and support.
I get emotionally overwhelmed because it gives people in addiction the opportunity that they never knew they had. And then they embrace it and they're off and running.
With more than 2,000 transitional houses across the nation and 17 statewide, Hattiesburg is home to 3 houses. Inside, just a snapshot of a new life for women working towards a stable future.
I love it. I'm passionate. It saved my life.
Oxford House alum Dana Tarter now able to help others who face her same tribulations.
It still helps you with accountability too, and you see the women coming in and you're able to help them and watch them grow as you did. And it's amazing. It's a wonderful experience.
It also holds you accountable and it holds you responsible.
It saved my life because I was in addiction so long that I had no idea how to just live as a sober person.
The self-supporting, drug-free home is the foundation to a sense of freedom.
I've seen people's lives change. It's not a story that I heard or something that I read. I'm part of it, and I get to watch the miracle happen, and it's probably one of the most amazing things that I've ever been a part of, and I'm grateful that I don't have to do this, I get to do it.
In Hattiesburg, Jessica Bowman, WDAM, on your side. A sense of serenity as you step inside one of nature's habitats. Welcome to Turkey Pine Plantation.
You know, the real beauty of the farm is that it's a lot more than just planting and growing and harvesting trees.
A landscape of natural beauty stretching across more than 100 acres.
It's heaven. And all the wildlife, the deer and the turkey and even the squirrels, and it's just, we're very blessed.
As a beam of sunlight radiates through the treetops, the picturesque view is only a snapshot into the tranquil tree farm upkept through a labor of love.
The bald eagle occasionally, the geese, the deer, the turkey. It's those kinds of things. It's the recreational activities that we have because of the farm.
Nestled in the outskirts of Sumrall, Lamar County, this tree farm is home to Henry and Kay Hudson. Passed down through the family, the whispering pines and gentle waters serve a much greater purpose.
Our farm produces some income from us in the harvest of trees, but it also serves as a sanctuary for wildlife.
Along with a 24-acre watershed lake, which is a sustainable fishery, Turkey Pine Plantation grew to life in 1998. The couple moved from Memphis, Tennessee to their land of milk and honey, made up of loblolly and longleaf pines that have been deep-rooted in their family tree for more than 70 years. Creating a sustainable forest, the Hudsons own and operate the only American tree farm system, certified tree farm in Lamar County.
It's the regeneration from the J.J. Newman Lumber Company clear-cut harvest back in the early 1900s.
The couple's hard work is highlighted through the Mississippi Forestry Association, naming them the recipients of the 2019 MFA Outstanding Tree Farmer of the Year.
A lot of work, about 20 years of work, to be honest with you.
We're so proud of the Hudsons to be in Lamar County. They have a beautiful farm, as you've seen.
Senator Joey Fillingane, who represents District 41, where Turkey Pine Plantation is sowed, says the state of Mississippi is made up of a little more than 60% of forested land encompassing more than 19 million acres.
Forestry and poultry are the two #1 economic generators here in Mississippi, and we're still largely an agricultural state. So timber in this state is king, and we're so proud that this beautiful tree farm is right here in Lamar County.
All of those things working together, it is amazing in that the sum total of them working together is greater than the sum of the individuals by themselves. I call it a force multiplier. It gives you more than you put in for it.
As their hard work blossoms into recognition across the Magnolia State, the gates close for the evening at Turkey Pine Plantation.